You know, it's 5.2 million people right now who are affected. We've got water still rising. We've got the rain still flowing. The number one thing is taking care of people's safety. And what the most important thing that people can do is listen to their local, state, and federal law enforcement officers who are providing them shelter where they can be, and making sure that if they see people who are in trouble, they can pick up the phone and call in those true emergencies. We've seen that 911 has been overwhelmed with calls. So really, as you have the opportunity to see those people who are really desperately in need, please do so and make sure that the local, state, and federal authorities can help in any way they can. There's been a good coordination so far. I heard the Lieutenant Governor of Texas on last night talking about the preparedness that they had, but nothing can prepare somebody for what we're seeing in Texas right now.
Yeah, because you're going to see another 20 inches of rain, possibly. Our own Rick Reichmuth saying that. This is what 20 inches has currently done. Imagine another 20 inches on top of this, Corey. Some of these images, as we're showing you here, people being rescued, carted away. The problem for a lot of these officials, though, is for people that aren't listening to what they're telling them and heeding these warnings. Stay off the roadways. We've seen people being trapped now. We saw a family fleeing in station wagons as they're trying to get away, but they're scared. And this is incredibly difficult for both the state and local officials.
Well, they are, but look, you have to think about safety first. It's the most important thing. You have to get to a place where safety is being provided. You have to make sure that your family is protected. Don't worry about your valuables and all of those things that have been left behind. You have to take care of your family first, and you have to listen to the local officials who are telling you where the safe places are to travel and safe places to go are. Don't be a hero. You have to make sure you're taking care of your family. Don't try and drive in places you shouldn't be. You heard an earlier person talking about they tried 5 or 6 different paths to cross, and everyone is flooded right now. There is just too much chaos, and so right now the local law enforcement, local emergency responders know what is best for people. Please do your part and listen to them.
How about the National Guard side of this, Corey? When do they step in?
Well, I think as the rain continues and you're going to see individuals who are going to try and go back to homes, you know, the National Guard is going to be brought in to probably help bring some law and order back to this as the rain subsides in 2 or 3 or 4 days right now. Right now, the number one issue is the safety of individuals. And look, if you have to activate the National Guard to go in and rescue people because of the resources they have, anything that the local communities and local law enforcement and emergency responders say is needed, I know the government at the state level, I know the government at the federal level is willing to provide any resources necessary.
Well, the president has been following this closely. He's been tweeting out about this for days now. He's in Camp David this week, and we have photos of him in the Situation Room around a number of his advisors, obviously wanting to follow this as closely as they possibly can and do what they can to help the people in Texas. Now reports that he may visit Houston or the Texas area within the next week. That's coming from Congressman Blake Farenthold from Texas. What do you think? Is he going to get there the next week?
I would recommend the president goes and sees the damage firsthand. I mean, this is something that we have not seen in potentially our lifetime. This is of the equivalent of a Hurricane Katrina. And I think it would be important for the president to go down there, assess the damage. I think what you'll need to see, and I think Congressman King from New York talked about this, is an emergency spending bill of some nature going through Congress to provide relief to those people in Texas. So the president needs to go down there, witness this firsthand, understand the complete devastation has taken place, and then work with Congress immediately to provide some economic relief to the people in Texas.
Could this reshape? I'm sorry, Todd. I was going to ask you. I mean, this could reshape. You mentioned Katrina. I mean, this is Katrina at this point. This is one of the worst natural disasters this country's ever faced. This has the power to perhaps reshape a presidency in some way, could alter the course of a presidency. This could be a major, $40 to $50 billion destruction of one of America's biggest cities. Just at a meta level, that's got to hit this president hard.
Well, it has to, and look, it's not just the complete devastation which we've seen, but it's the rebuilding effort. It's going to take a long time. You know, many people never moved back to Louisiana after Katrina. We saw the devastation in Sandy, which took place there. It took a long time to rebuild that community. Houston, as not just all those people living there, and the 5.2 million people right now they're under a flood warning, but all of that economic vibrance, which is so critical to the economy, has to make sure we get it back up online because people have to get back to work. So I think an emergency spending bill through Congress to make sure that we have all the resources necessary to rebuild those communities as quickly as possible is something the president would want to support, and I think it would be important for him to get to Houston and to Texas to see this firsthand.